yeah, oh, I'm Karaite, yeah, oh, I'm Karaite. Hey, everybody, this is Sean Leisha from A Blue Thread, and today I'm going to do a review of Professor Daniel Lasker's book, Karaism, in an introduction to the oldest surviving alternative Judaism. First thing I want to say is this is an amazing book. Bravo, Professor Lasker. And just so everybody knows, when I had my great Karaite awakening some 20 plus years ago as a freshman in college, I had wanted a book just like this, a book that provides an overview of Karaism in many different times and places, but doesn't go too deep, something that really gives you the essence of what you need to know to understand Karaism. So go out and buy the book if you're interested. It's $45 at Amazon. I'm not being paid to say that, but I think it's an amazing book. Next thing I want to tell you is that I actually give this book the highest ranking possible. I give it 4 blue threads. Somehow, one day I'll figure out how to do this, right? But like, I'll give it 4 blue threads, 4 out of 4, of course. I want to tell you why I like the book. The book accomplishes exactly what it sets out to do. It says it's an introduction right there on the cover, and it goes out there and is very introductory. I should just note that like there are some young Karaites, like young, meaning I'm 42, almost 43, young, meaning like younger than me, who really didn't like the title because it says like alternative Judaism, and it reminded them of some like guitar bands in a garage up in Seattle or something, almost like I don't know, it's like Pearl Jam-esque, like, oh, I'm Karaite. Sorry, Eddie Vedder. You know that your job is safe. By the way, if anybody can produce that song, like something like that about I'm Karaite and make it sound awesome, hit me up. I'll get you a stipend to do it. All right, back to our review. The second thing I like about the book is that it opens each chapter with a quote. But what Professor Lasker does here, which I really appreciate, is that he did not just cite Karaite sources. He cites rabbinic sources, and he even cites a Supreme Court justice for the state of Israel, especially in the chapter when he's talking about the Karaite return to Israel. The last thing I want to point out is that at the end of each chapter, he suggests further reading. So if you like what you read in the chapter and you want to go deeper, remember I told you this is introductory, so he doesn't go deep at all in any of the chapters. But if you want to go deeper, he suggests other places you can go. What's cool about this further reading section is he cites many of the works that the Karaite Press has put out there. So thank you, Professor Lasker. That really means a lot to us. And finally, I want to tell you guys, look, I am not unbiased in this, right? Like I obviously am thankful that there is a professor who put out work on Karaism. I happen to be cited throughout the book, referenced throughout the book. It has not affected, I don't think, maybe it has, my opinion of the book, but it's a great book. The other thing I want to point out is, again, just to talk about biases, I am the only, like, there's like at the end of this book, there's a section called Dramatis Personae. Now, I took Latin. I have no idea what this means. My Latin teacher, sorry, Mr. Bonnell, is probably really not happy with me right now. But in any event, I'm the only Lisha cited in the Dramatis Personae. Which is really cool. I was telling that to my wife, and I'm like, "Hey, isn't that amazing? I'm the only Lisha cited," and she just starts laughing. I'm like, why are you laughing so much? She said, "Meanwhile, that other Lisha, that other famous Lisha, is stirring in his grave." I'm like, "What other famous Lisha?" And she says, "You know, the famous lawyer from like 100 years ago." I said, "Oh yes, that guy's name is Murad Farag Lisha. He also is cited, but under the name Murad Farag. Professor Lasker, this is absolute Lisha erasure. He should be Murad Farag Lisha." And by the way, I'm related to him, and you could see here how I'm related to him. So this is me down here. So although my last name is Lisha and his last name is Lisha, although you could see here they didn't, oh yeah, here's Lisha right there. We're actually related through my mother. So my mother married somebody who's Lisha, but look, my mother's mother, father's father is Murad Farag Lisha's uncle. So, and by the way, so look, he was a lawyer, and he wrote the Egyptian Constitution, which is really cool. So that makes him like 100 times the lawyer that I am. Okay, so in all seriousness, this is an amazing book. I really enjoyed it. It is rare for a book to be written from a purely academic perspective, right? To have academic rigor, but to also be extremely sensitive to the Karaite position, right? I think it's amazing. Now, look, I as a Karaite, and I, as a quasi academic, have things that I could like nitpick or disagree with throughout the book. but I'll just say that this is an amazing book. If you are a professor teaching a course on Judaism or Judaisms, and want a book on Karaism, this is actually probably the best book you can find. I can't imagine that there's a better one out there right now, especially if you're looking for something that is broad and written by an academic. Take good care, everyone.